Hello, friends. How are you? Hope you're well. I'm here today to do a big review video, and I'm going to do it as usual. I have this little intro, then I'll put in a slide that gives you the book, a picture of the book cover, and all the details of publication. Do my review, and then I'll do the same for every single one right the way through. So I hope you really enjoy this. I've really enjoyed the books that I have here for review for you. Um, and I hope that you'll enjoy them so much that you'll think, oh, I'd really like to go and read that. So yeah, let's start with the first book, shall we? So The Last Party at Silverton Hall by Rachel Burton. I want to really thank Head of Zeus for this. And this one wasn't on my radar, and I got a really nice email from one of the ladies at Head of Zeus Publishing and said, "Look, we've read Rachel Burton before. We'd really like you to review this for us." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? If you think I'm going to enjoy it, then I'll definitely read it." And I'm really glad I did. This is like a dual timeline. Excuse me a minute, it's getting a bit cold. I'm going to close my window. That's fine. That's better. Yeah, so it's just getting a bit nippy. So as I say, dual timeline, 1952 and onwards, and 2019. So in 1952, we meet Vivian, and she lives at home and she works as a secretary for solicitors. And it's during the time of the really bad smog that was happening in London. There's one scene where it's like described that she can't actually see in front of her face, and she's having to try and like she's put a hand on a wall just to try and sort of feel where she's going, and even doing that she misses where she's supposed to turn down and stuff like this. You know that must have been horrendous to be living in that time, as it were. But on one of her days when it's really badly foggy, she bumps into this man called Max, and he takes her for a cuppa, and they become friends, and he sort of starts dropping by the solicitor's office when she's about to get off work, and they tend to go for a cup of tea, and they just become friends, and then he starts taking her out places and courting her. And her parents seem to be quite happy with this, because he's obviously the class system is still very much no evidence he is of, shall we say, a higher class than the girl, but they don't mind that. And Vivian is very much, she loves Max, and they get married, and he takes her to Norfolk because she's never seen the sea, and he takes her to Norfolk, to this lovely little village, and he says, "Oh, I have a house here," and they end up living there, and you get snippets of her life, throughout the story. But move forward to 2019, and Isabel who's Vivian's granddaughter, inherits the house when Vivian passes away. And Isabel has been going through a tough time, and she decides that she's going to move back into the house because she lived there when she was a teenager with her grandmother, because her mother and father moved to the USA and she didn't want to go because she was happily settled. So she loves the house, and she is going to renovate it and live there, and just sort of decide what she wants to do with her life. She's teaching at the moment, and she likes it, but it's not maybe exactly what she wants to do. But as she is clearing out or going through her grandmother's belongings, she finds this painting of her grandmother at Silverton Hall. And this is a place her grandmother said that she never went and she never wanted to go there. But she also finds out from other people that her grandmother used to go up to Silverton Hall for coffee. And she's like, "But she never went here." And then there's this exhibition at the hall, and there's a picture of her grandmother. And she's like, what? What's going on? So to help, she also has helped in, discovering the secrets by a young man called Nick. Now, Nick was a really good friend of hers when she lived with her grandmother. They had one summer where they fell in love, and they thought there was going to be, I can't remember who was it, she thought there was going to be more and he moved away, or it was along those lines anyway. But they come back. He's in the village looking after his grandfather and helping his grandfather is at the antique store. His grandfather was a great friend of Vivian's, so he helps her to start trying to unravel what the mystery was. Isabel's mother didn't come back for her mother's funeral because Isabel's mum will not fly. She is scared of flying, and because of something that happened in recent history. And I can totally get that. I am not one who loves flying, and I can totally see her point of view. But she needs to come back over for various reasons. But yeah, no, it was really good. It was like, why are all these secrets? What's happening? And I really, really enjoyed it. The characterization was really good. I really liked Vivian as a character. In some ways, I felt sorry for her. I felt sorry for Isabel's mum in many ways. I really liked the interaction between Isabel and Nick and Nick's grandfather. That was really, really nice. And I liked the fact that members of the village were able to help Isabel, piece together the story of Vivian and Max. It was just so nice. It was a really good book. So if you like sort of family historicals, then I think this one would definitely be for you. So please let me know down in the comments if you fancy reading it. I would love to know. But let's go for the next book. And the next one we saw is Bluebell Season at the Potting Shed by Jenny Kane. Again, I was asked by one of the ladies at Aria Publishing, if I would like to review it, because I read the first one in this series, and I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. So I would say that it's probably best if you've read the first book in this series before you read this one. Excuse me. It will give you a better idea of the whole backstory. It was really nice to be back to be with Maddie and her sister Sabby and all the gang at the Potting Shed. Now the Potting Shed is doing well, but they've decided that they're going to sort of carry on with the big renovations that their late father wanted to do. And there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of upheaval. But Sabby is keeping a very tight rein on the money, and she sort of says, look, we have to break even or even go into a profit by such and such a date, or we have to put a stop on the renovations at that point. So it puts a lot of pressure on Maddie, and she has to try and work out how are they going to bring in more money. There's complications because Sabby's husband Henry, he asks one of his, like a brand new junior associate in his firm, to oversee the renovations of what was the house that Maddie lives in, and it was her father's. They are going to convert the top part of it into a flat for Maddie, and then downstairs is going to be like a cafe and a shop, etc. So he asks her to oversee the builders. but she doesn't make a very good job of it, and it's almost as if she doesn't want this to happen. She also has taken against, or she has an issue with one of the other people who work or who come to the potting shed and help Maddie out, because this guy is called Joe. He has a coffee van which is really, really popular, but this lady has an absolute grudge against him. She is bad mouthing him to people, etc. So there's a mystery there. And to the point of that Joe will not come back to the potting shed because of this. So this means that there's a source of revenue is gone. And Maddie has to try and find a way to try and maybe bring him back, but it's the person that can possibly get through to him most is Sabby's daughter. So you have that going on in the background. You also have the big garden centre that we learnt about in the first book. They're having this big planned opening and they've got a celebrity coming, etc. And it's like, well, how can the potting shed compete with that? What are we going to do? And Maddie's sort of like gardening mentor comes and helps go with ideas, etc., etc. So everybody is pulling together, and it's like, are they going to get everything ready for their kind of big opening, and what's going to happen with Joe? And it was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the characters. I liked being back in that setting. There was a lot bubbling underneath the surface that needed to be worked out, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved being, as I say, I loved being back in the potting shed. I liked the way that the plot line was handled. Maddie is a great character. Sabby grew on me more this book, and I liked the fact that everybody pulled together to help everybody out. It was just really, really nice. So if you haven't read the Potting Shed series yet, I would really go and start with it, because it is just so good. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a next one. There has to be a next one, because I need to know what happens next. So I really, really, really enjoyed it. So if you go and read it, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know what you think of it. But yeah, so let's go chat about the next book. So the next one, as you saw, is a novel proposal by Denise Hunter. This was one that I chose for myself from Netgalley, and I did enjoy it, I have to say. So we meet Sadie, who writes cowboy western books, and she loves doing that. And it has been profitable for her, but her latest book is not. The publishers is not getting the sales that they want. So they decide that they want her to change genre and to write romance book. Sadie has got no clue about romance genre, never reads it, has never been in love, and she's like, I can't do this. I really can't do this. But her best friend, Caroline, says, look, you can do this, but you maybe need to get out of New York, which is where you normally write. Get out of New York, go somewhere new, immerse yourself in romance novels to begin with, and then start thinking about it. So Caroline's mother has a duplex in South Carolina on the beach, and Caroline says Sadie, go and live there and just see what happens. So Sadie and her dog drive to the duplex, and the other half of the duplex is being occupied by Sam. Now Sam is a bit grumpy, doesn't want to deal with anybody, wants to be left on his own, just to get on with his work, which is like he and his family run a garden, what would I call it? not renovations, but they look after people's gardens, etc. So he's working on the island just now, because he needs to be away from his family for a bit. Sadie loves the house. She loves being on the beach, so she goes out every morning for a run. She takes her dog for a walk on the beach. She begins to make friends with people who walk on the beach, etc. And she immerses herself in these romance books, but they're not kind of helping her try and figure out a plot line. And there's a pressure coming from her publishers going, have you got your plot line sorted out yet? Have you started your draft, etc.? And she's like, yeah, it's going splendidly. It's like, not at all. And this day she decides, having spoken to some of the people on the beach, she decides to start a little free library. So she builds it herself. It's one thing her father taught her to do, was to do woodwork. So she builds this little free library, and as she reads the romance books that she's read, she puts them in there. And people are coming and taking them, they're putting other ones back, etc. And one night she finds this book, and inside the book there is something. I'm not going to say what it is, but someone had hidden something inside a book, and she decides that she needs to find the person this book is owned by. And she's slowly beginning to make friends with Sam, and she pulls him into, let's find out who this book belongs to, etc. And the more time they spend together, the more time they are hunting for the owner of the book, the more Sadie realizes, actually, this could be my story. This could be the romance story that I'm looking for. And she starts plotting it out, and she starts writing it. Yes, there is a conflict. I'm not going to say what it is, but it was really lovely. It was a really nice book. I really enjoyed it. Sadie, it took me a wee while to sort of to warm to her. I could understand why she was very nervous about changing genre. I don't think that'd be a very easy thing to do. Not being a writer myself, I don't know that changing genre is easy to do. If any of my viewers know about that, please let me know. I'm thinking of one viewer in particular, and I think she'll know who I'm meaning when I say this. But just let me know, is it easy to change genre? If you're so used to writing one genre, how easy is it to switch to another? I would love to know. I really liked the friendship between Sadie and Sam's little sister. That was really well written. Because she helped him. It's Sam, isn't it? Yes. She helped her sort of become more set in what she wanted to do, because Sadie only writes part-time. She writes during the summer. During the year she's actually a teacher. So it was really nice, the fact that she had two jobs. I really liked her friendships that she built up with the beachside community, and that I thought that was really, really nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was my first book of Denise Hunter's, and I will definitely be reading more of hers. So yeah, that I hope you've enjoyed this. Please let me know down below if you've read Denise Hunter. Have you read this one? I'd love to know. And are there any other Denise Hunters that you think, yeah, you really should read? I'd be really appreciative of that information. But let's go to the next book. So as you saw, the next one is A Sprinkle of Spring by Melissa McClone. This is book number 4 in the Silver Falls series. I love this series. I really did. I would suggest that you do read them in order. You don't have to, but it might be better if you did. I haven't, I have to say. I still have one book in the series to go, which I will do. But I don't mind kind of having known what happens. But no, I've enjoyed the whole series so far. So in this book we meet Flynn, who is Callie, the owner of the doggy daycare, etc. in town of Silver Falls. He is her brother, and he is a surgeon, and a very successful surgeon, who to his own detriment is so involved in work and works so hard that nothing else is important. He is like blindfolded. And for some people that is great, but for him, his blindfoldedness means that he takes things very, very literally. And that causes problems. But he finds out that his Callie is pregnant, and she asks him slightly begrudgingly to be godfather to the baby, and he is delighted. He is like, oh, he is so happy. But she also has asked her best friend Anna, who works for her at doggy daycare as a groomer, etc., to be the godmother. Flynn is not happy about this because he doesn't trust Anna. He really doesn't know anything about Anna, but he doesn't trust her. But because they are godparents, they have to organise the baby shower. And Flynn says, I'll do what you need me to do, but here's some money. I have to work. Here's some money. That'll help pay for it. Just let me know what you need me to do. But Anna phones him with things. He doesn't answer her. He's just head down. Basically, blinkered, work, end of. To the point of fact that he's working himself basically to the bone. And something happens, not tragedy, thankfully, and the hospital where he works, that his mother is part of the board for, turn to him and say, right, you're on leave of absence for X number of weeks, you need to recover. And he comes back to Silver Falls to stay with a family friend. But he's too late to help with, basically the baby shower. But others cover for him. But Callie finds out, and she is really not happy. She is really not happy with him at all, and she lets him know it. The baby shower is a huge success thanks to Anna and the others. It is everything that Callie and her husband ever wanted. And something happens after the baby shower that, as I say, Flynn Blinker takes things literally. There is an accident. Anna is hurt. And she needs help. And basically Flynn is volunteered by the family to look after her. And so the more time they spend together, the more they learn about each other, learn that maybe they are, they could be good together. And it was beautifully written. Melissa has done a brilliant job with this series, and this one was it was the icing on the cake at the end of this series. It was just so good. I loved the interactions between Flynn and Anna as they were spending time together. I liked the fact that others were butting in. It was so good. I also liked the fact that, that Flynn learned that there was more to life, and that he could do, good in other ways as well as being, a surgeon, etc. Oh, seriously, guys, go and get the Silver Falls series by Melissa McClone. You will not be disappointed. They are just so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, so probably, one of my favorites, of my review books this last month. This is probably tops it. I have to say that and The Party at Silverton Hall were probably my two favourites so far. I've still got one to tell you about though. So let's go on to the next book. And the last book for this video is It Started with a Vegas Wedding by Jessica Gilmore. This was my Mills and Boon pick for this month, for February. I really did enjoy it. So we meet Logan, and Logan owns his own company with his cousin Nate, but his father wants him to be more responsible and to start taking more interest in the family business. Now, Logan and Nate have been running this company since they were in college, and I found it strange that his father, as like a family business owner who does run a family business, would actually turn around and say, your business is nothing, it's just a mere trifle. I'm sorry, they built this business up from the ground. So I found that, that his father didn't understand that his father didn't appreciate how much work has been done. But anyway, Logan agrees to take more interest in the family business, and he attends the company conference in Las Vegas, where he meets Willow, who happens to work in their London division. Now, Willow is very straight-laced. Willow plays by the book. She is not uptight, but she knows her boundaries. Something happens that they end up spending some time together, and he eggs her on to be more adventurous, and they fill a day with doing various things. And one of them was, let's get married at the old chapel with Elvis, the impersonator, but it'll only be for 24 hours. We'll annul the marriage, etc. I'll send you the paperwork within a couple of days. But something happens, and a month later, Logan turns up at Willow's apartment in London and goes, my father knows we're married. I have a proposition for you. And the proposition is like, will you stay and be my wife for a year, move out to Massachusetts with me, be my wife for a year, then we will annul the marriage. As a prenup, I will give you XYZ. And Willow is tempted, and she has a sister who lives in London. Her sister and her brother-in-law, and they have kids, and Willow loves these kids. But the building in which her sister and brother-in-law live and have their cafe underneath, the rent is going up and they can't afford it, and they want to extend the cafe, etc. So Willow goes, right, okay, my prenup will be you buy that building and you hand the rights of the building over, the property deeds to the building over to me after a year. Basically, she's securing her family's future. She'd wanted to, she'd been saving money to buy this cottage that she loved. So she agrees to it. And they have to spend sort of time on the flight from London to Boston, learning, getting their backstory straight, etc. And I loved Willow's reaction to the house that they're living in Massachusetts with his father. The part of the house that they get to live in used to be Logan's grandparents, and as part of it, there is a turret room where his grandmother used to sew and read. And he says to Willow, "You can have this for a reading room or whatever." And she is just overjoyed with this. I loved seeing Willow's change as she got to know the town where they lived, got to go into Boston to work, because because she was married to Logan, they brought her, although she worked for the film, they put her into the, like, shall we say, the family division, and she got to do more things than she would have done in the London office. So maybe she got promoted more quickly, although she had been promoted pretty quickly within the London office anyway, because she's so good at her job. And I really liked seeing herself and Logan get to know each other, get to understand each other. She understood that there were a lot of things within the family, and that Logan was carrying a lot of guilt for various things. It was really well written. I liked the fact of, them just getting to know each other and actually working out, well, maybe actually, would we work as a married couple? Not just for a year, but for longer. Is that a possibility? So yeah, I'm not going to tell you how it turned out. That's just not right. But I really did enjoy it. It was a really nice read, and I would recommend it. If you like your romance that way. It was, I've never actually done one of these. I've never read the trope of, like, not forced marriage, but you know what I mean. A marriage, and then it has to be, they try and make it work, sort of thing. And I did really enjoy it, and it's maybe a trope that I would think about reading again. So if you do fancy reading it, or if you read it, please let me know down in the comments what did you think of it. I would love to know. So friends, that's the end of this review video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed chatting to you about the books that I've had for review this month. I have another couple coming, so there will be another review video coming probably middle of March, I would think, or the end of March. I think I'll make it that way, so it gives me time to read some more. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed it. If any of the books have appealed to you, I would love to know down in the comments. Are there any books that you've read in the last month that you think, oh Fiona, you would really, really enjoy? I would love to know that as well. But until my next video, friends, stay safe, happy reading. Bye!